So welcome back. So we're making a router plane today, and I got a collection of them here just to kind of demonstrate. Got some wooden ones up to modern day metal ones, but I'm going to go ahead and make a wooden one today, and I have this offcut of hard maple, and it should be just the right size to make a router plane from. So that is where we're going to start. Yep, that's not good. Yeah, it needs to be sharpened. So while I am working on applying the finish to this router plane, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about Plain Wellness. So Plain Wellness is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They offer woodworking courses to individuals with mental health diagnosis, physical disabilities, including veterans with disability ratings. Classes are also open to anybody who may want to take one. Their mission is to improve mental wellness through woodworking while encouraging an inclusive community. So they want you to learn woodworking and succeed in the craft. They want you to heal from traumas and experience peace. They also want you to live life to the fullest and thrive in your own communities. And so if you would like to learn how to make, a router plane like this, or learn how to sharpen or cut dovetails, or whatever have you, there are lots of classes to check out with a lot of great teachers. So you have James Wright from the YouTube channel Wood by Wright. You have Jeff Washkowski from Reed Plains, Albert Klein, also on Instagram and Facebook. Shay Alexander is a full-time professional woodworker. You have Dennis Wayne, who is a saw maker, and myself are just some of the teachers that are there. So I would encourage you to check them out. They're just a great organization that's trying to do a lot of good for our community. Now with all that said, I am going to shut up and get this piece finished. So here's the finished piece, and overall I am real happy with how it turned out. It feels good in the hand. It has a little bit of heft to it. It slides smoothly, and it leaves a really nice cut, which is that's the important part. Spec-wise, this is hard maple. It's about 4.5 inches long, 3 inches wide, 2.5 inches tall. The bed angle is roughly 66 degrees. The front of that mortise, I think, is set about 75 degrees. For the iron, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, a little more than 1/2 inch wide, and roughly 6 inches long. It was made out of some 1084 steel, which is really simple to heat treat with minimal setups. If you decide to make your own, I wouldn't get overly concerned about nailing the dimensions that I just laid out. Work with the stock that you have on hand. That's what I did. This block of wood ended up being roughly this size because I had an offcut roughly that size. I used that steel because I had some of that steel left over. Work with what you have. You don't need to make it exactly how I made it. As long as the bottom is relatively flat and you have a good connection between your blade and the mortise and the wedge in here, you'll be golden. In terms of the finish, the surface was all prepped with tools, so hand planes, scrapers, and then it was burnished, and then it was waxed. So it didn't require any sandpaper or varnish or anything like that. It's a pretty easy finish that's relatively quick. You're not really waiting on anything to dry. So it's one that you can put on and then get to work right away. Overall, I'm real happy with it. The only thing I think I'm not going to change too much on the next versions I make. I'm going to fiddle with the blade design a little bit more. I added this little kind of bump out on the back. The idea was that I could take my hammer and knock against it to help retract it, and this just didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. I need to make the blade a little bit longer to make this design viable. It was something I'd seen on some antique bench planes, and I wanted to try it on this, and it just didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. So no big deal. It's an experiment, and I didn't like the results, so we'll change it for the next go-around. Final thing, I had mentioned this earlier, but I'm actually going to be teaching a router plane making course for Plane Wellness. So I'm a teacher. I have a few classes on there. There are many other teachers, and there's a variety of lessons that are available. There's new stuff that's being added all the time. So please check that out, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.